Good morning, everybody. All right, today weekend we are working on a dash for a older Mercedes Sprinter. Now this dash doesn't power up at all. I believe it's had the power hooked up the wrong way. It's been worked on before, as we can see. So I'll just show you. If we flick the power supply on, we have no lights, no LEDs, nothing. So first thing, I have started to chase this issue back just off camera. What I'm going to do when we've got a power issue like this is we're going to look for a short circuit. So I'm going to hook up the thermal camera. I'm going to go across the board and see if anything's getting hot. Alright, and our thermal camera is on. As you can see, we do have a really big hot spot up the top corner, right up near where that little black component is there. Now that's a voltage regulator. And we can also see that the processor itself is getting quite hot. So that spot, well, it's just over the processor, somewhere near that hole, just over that hole there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the board. We're going to get rid of this. Might as well turn this off for now. We don't want to cook anything too much. Flip the board, and that spot just over here looks to be somewhere near that EEPROM or near the capacitor. Now, because that voltage regulator is getting a lot hotter, it's physically hot, I can feel it. That's what we're going to start with. Now, I've already pulled up the data sheet for this. You won't be able to read it, but it's a 4275A5G. And here is our semiconductor data sheet. As you can see, it's a 5 volt, 450 milliamp low drop voltage reg. So what we've got on here is we should have a 12 volt input. We're going to have a 5 volt output plus or minus 2%. We're also going to have a ground on pin 3, which is that little middle stubby one, and then the back base, and this is it here. So voltage measurements straight away. This is going to be a little bit hard at one hand. Alright, as you can see, I'll flip that power supply on. We've got a decent input. And this should be our ground. We'll check this with continuity. This should also be a ground, and we should have a 5 volt output here. When we don't, we've got a 1.7 volt output. So I believe this component may be shorted. The other check that I did quickly with this, we'll just flip the power supply off again. I actually checked if any of the input or the output side is shorted to ground. They're not. I also checked all the caps, those little capacitors around that area. So all we did, hold 1 meter lead on the board ground on the side here and just run along and check. None of these caps, that transistor is shorted to ground. All of these are good. So we're going to whip this off, and I'm going to see, I think I've got a donor one on a scrap board over here that I can whip off and put on and see what happens. Alright, and just a quick check, we've got that little bugger off, so I'm going to clean up the area. I've just powered it up now. That is the main power supply voltage regulator, so I don't believe we have, obviously we're not going to have much power flowing through the board, only through the main caps, but we don't actually have a short anymore. That's getting cooler, so that's good. We know that our short is either further past here or at here, and I did check from this output pin to ground, and there was no continuity. So I believe that this is our culprit. I'm going to swap the other one on and see if we've got any signs of life. Alright, not going to lie, I think I'm pretty happy with that. She boots up, so that's that reg replaced. What I'll do, I've got spray absolutely everywhere, but I'll try and show that we've got a good 5 volt or 4.5, 5 volt I think output. There we go, 5 volts, thank you very much. So that's sorted and everything is lit up. Back to life. Now to just put it back together.